Um. One thing, and I don't know what we should do. But I think the municipality, should do something for the volunteer group. That put last weekend together. Because there wasn't enough volunteers to do the work. They had requests out, and although on Thursday night they had no problem getting volunteers, they didn't have enough people. And in fact, I talked to one of the people that was one of the main volunteer group, and they said for 4 nights in a row, they got 5 hours sleep. Because there was just that much work and it had to be done, but they did a fantastic job. Every venue sold out, every meal, everything else. There was no real disruptions in town, everything flowed really good, other than the parade. My wife got caught in the parade down here, she didn't like that. Apparently it started from the wrong end of town, so. But it was such a success and really showed our neighborhood off very well. And I don't have a suggestion of what to do. But I would like whether staff or if anybody else has something, we need to come up with something that recognizes the people. And unfortunately, I think some of those people are having burnout and have said, that's it, they're done. And have done it for years, but it's just been too much. And that's unfortunate. And it's not just right now. Ever since the start of COVID, tourism has dropped off. It doesn't matter whether you're one of the community groups or whatever, it's been more and more of a problem to get volunteers. But I think we should really recognize publicly the people that put that event on and the work that they did. So if staff has any brainwaves, I don't need to hear them right now, but let's put some thought into it of something.
We did do a social media post earlier this week or last week, I believe, recognizing all the volunteers as well and their great efforts and the turnout of Seaforth Homecoming. We can do something more as well, but we have done a public thank you as well.
Councilor
Ratepayer approached me and said we should have a banquet for them. Personally for them, like a sit down, meal banquet and a thank you.
McGrath. And I'm not opposed to that, but the work they put into this, I think it would be well worth it.
I asked if he wanted invited, he said no. But that was just.
Yeah, and I guess we could also ask the homecoming committee, the organizers, to come here and recognize in a council meeting too. We could do that as well.
Okay, absolutely. My next announcement is, doesn't sound good at the start, but it's great news. I've canceled our second delegation at the MO conference. For any of you that have not heard, Huron East has received a grant of $12,819,000 towards our water treatment plant upgrade as of this week. It was official yesterday. You know, a little earlier on. And there's a lot of people that deserve credit for this. It started with the Water and Sewer Committee pushing, knowing that they had the information from Public Works, understood what needed to be done, and that fact that we had to stay on top of this. And I'm gonna say, what is it, Greg? Probably 6 years ago, we started pushing for this. Recognizing that we were gonna get to a point where we needed to do this expansion. And because there's so much potential development coming through Seaforth area now, the timing couldn't be better. Staff did a great job on the application. We did not make it through some of the rounds, but we did at this point, and timing is good for us. And Lisa has been a huge supporter for Huron East at the province with some of these projects going forward. Sorry, not you, Lisa. You know, we got the grant for the connecting line. We've got some other projects that I can't talk about at this point, but that we've had success from the province. And then to get this, which is really needed for the housing expansion that seems to be coming forward and coming our way. So really do appreciate the effort also that Lisa put into it. So this really is good news here.
Absolutely, 12 months.
Can I get a mover and a seconder to reconvene into open session? Moved by Councillor Newell, second by Councillor Morrison.
Yeah.
I really knew those name tags up. I haven't seen you people in a month. I don't know who you are. Yeah. The council of the municipality, Huron is reconvened into open session at 6:05 PM. All those in favor? And motion carries. The reporting out, council went into a closed session to discuss the disposition of land in Brussels and instructions to be applied to a negotiation carried on behalf of the municipality. Our land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge that the land we stand upon today is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, and the neutral peoples. Can I get a mover and a seconder for confirmation of the agenda, please? Councillor Dalton and Councillor Adil. I have gone backwards before.
Yeah.
All those in favor? And motion carries. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest from any member of council or anything on the agenda this evening? Seeing none. Can I get a mover and a seconder to approve the minutes of the previous meeting? Councillor Chartrand and Deputy Mayor. That the council of the municipality of Huron East approve the following council meeting minutes as circulated. And that's the regular meeting of July 8th, 2025. Any comments or questions on the minutes? All those in favor? And motion carries. We have a number of items on the consent agenda. Is there anything there that anybody, now there's a lot, would like to have pulled at this time? Councillor Fisher.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think I have four, but I sure can't remember the numbers. The one about raising the income level for veterans. The two, I think they're 8 and 9, complaining about the province's heavy-handedness with the bills they're passing. And then the one from North Huron that wants the province to pay for this committee that we voted against. I think we voted against it. It's up in the 20s, I think, the North Huron one.
Community safety and well-being.
Yeah,
We do sit on the community safety and well-being.
I know we do, but I thought we voted, we voted against forming it because we had to pay. Maybe it was another committee. Anyway, that one. Thank you.
So, you just wanted letters of support for each or opposing?
Support for each, please, Mr. Mayor. That's what they're asking for, isn't it?
Okay, so along with the North Huron one,
Yep,
you want a letter of support for that?
yep.
Okay. Do I have a seconder for those requests? Councillor Chartrand, okay. So unless there's any other questions, those, I don't have which numbers they are. I have the 818, I have the 8.6.
8.6, 8.10, 8.11, and 8.18.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor? Motion carries. Are there any other items, Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to pull in support 819. That's early childhood education appreciation day. Just wondering if we were going to do anything for that or not, or if we were going to declare it once we get closer. I mean, it's a little ways off yet, but
I certainly think it's always appropriate. Go ahead, Lisa.
So the county will be hosting an ECE Appreciation Day throughout all ECEs in the county on that day. So all daycares will be closed and everybody attends it.
Yeah. So no need for a responder.
nope, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Was there another way?
Yeah, I just wanted to speak to 8.4. I just wanted to thank the landfill committee and the staff for their attention at the Walton landfill. It's had a lot of complaints about that, so it looks like everybody's working at that. So thank you very much.
Any other items that anybody would like to have pulled? Okay. Seeing none, now I get a mover and a seconder. There's no motion. Okay, got it. Can I get a mover and a seconder to accept the other items not addressed? Councillor Beal and Councillor Fisher. That the council of the municipality of Huron East approve the following council, oh, sorry, that's the one. No, there was no motion. Sorry, so that the municipality of Huron East, for, what's it called?
Accept the remaining items of the consent agenda.
Accept the remaining items of the
Information.
consent agenda for information items. All those in favor? Motion carries. Public meetings, hearings and delegations. Number one is the delegation for Mland Valley Conservation Authority, General Manager Phil Beard. Renewal agreement for the services and programs. Welcome, Phil.
Thank you. I believe that Megan has my presentation. Hopefully we can pull up and I think Alvin has some opening remarks once we get that up there.
Just one moment, we got the program and agreement, we don't recall receiving a presentation.
I got an email confirming from Megan that you received it, but we can go without it if you don't have that.
Hmm. See. Megan has it, she's just gonna be pulling up in one second.
Thank you. And I'll just say next when we go to the slides. Alvin, did you want to make your opening remarks or?
No, I'm just looking for what you'd sent me as well.
All right.
You told me to do the first and the last, so.
Yeah.
No, I don't have it, so I don't.
Okay, I can cover it. That works for you.
Yeah.
So good evening, Mayor McClellan and members of council. We're appearing before council this evening to provide some additional background information regarding the renewal of the memorandum of understanding that Mland Valley is prepared for council's consideration. We've included a letter from our chair, Ed McGugan, outlining our request for council to consider renewing the MOU for services and programs for another 4 years. We've included the draft MOU for council to provide feedback. It's the very same as the last MOU, except we've changed the word levy to cost apportionment. The province has removed that word from the act, so we have to use the word cost apportionment. We've also attached the list of services and programs that will be continuing for the next 4 years. There's no changes to the programs and services from the last agreement. And Mland Valley will not change any services or programs without consulting with our member municipalities. The budget process will remain the same. A copy of MVCA's draft budget and cost apportionment will continue to be circulated to our member municipalities on an annual basis. And I'll now do just a brief review of our services and programs that we plan to continue with. And let you know which services are mandatory, which services are non-mandatory. So you've already got the second slide, that's great. So Mland Valley has 15 member municipalities stretching from almost Arthur in the east to Goderich on the west. There's 808,000 acres in the watershed, or 3,270 square kilometers. Next slide, please. Just a little background on the Maitland watershed. We live in an area that has some of the best natural resources in Ontario. We have some of the best soil for growing crops in Ontario. The Mland River is one of the best small bass fishing rivers in Ontario. Lake Huron has some of the best beaches in Ontario for tourism. And Lake Huron is also a source of drinking water for many communities. Our woodlots are highly valued for their hardwoods by the forest industry. And these natural resources, along with clean air and a stable climate, are the foundation of our life support system and economy. Next slide, please. Mland Valley's vision is we're working for a healthy environment. Next slide, please. MVCA has two services that the province considers to be non-mandatory services. The first is watershed health monitoring and assessment. We monitor to understand the current health of forests and river systems in the watershed. This information helps us to focus our limited resources where they can be most effective. Next slide, please. The second non-mandatory service is watershed stewardship. This service is focused on providing extension support to landowners to help restore the health of forests, streams, and soil. Mland Valley considers watershed stewardship to be a critical service because 78% of the watershed is used for agriculture. Our focus is to help farmers implement stewardship practices that will help them keep soil and nutrients on the land and out of rivers and streams and Lake Huron. The cost apportionment support provided by our member municipalities for stewardship services provides Mland Valley with stable funding. Without this support, we would not have staff to deliver such programs as the Huron Clean Water Project and the Wellington Rural Water Quality Program. Stable funding helps us keep experienced, qualified staff that landowners can trust, which allows these staff to develop a positive long-term working relationship with landowners, community groups, and funding partners. And Mland Valley is a small organization, so our stewardship staff also have to work in other service areas such as conservation areas and flood safety, which are mandatory services. Next slide, please. Some of the key stewardship services that we're promoting and helping landowners with are cover crops, stream buffers, and stormwater management. Next slide, please. Mland Valley provides one service through an agreement, and that being the Huron Clean Water Project that's funded by the County of Huron. Staff assist landowners and community groups with applications, present projects to a review committee, inspect completed projects, and issue payment. And the Huron Clean Water Project is delivered by a team of stewardship staff from both Mland Valley and the Sauville Bayfield Conservation Authority. Next slide, please. So the following services are considered by the province to be mandatory services. So the first is conservation areas. We have 28 conservation areas, which represents 4,600 acres of forests, floodplains, wetlands, and river valleys. We have 3 staff to look after all our conservation areas, except for Falls Reserve and Wellnosh Campground, which have 2 staff. These 3 staff also look after all our buildings and equipment. Next slide, please. Many of our conservation areas are used for recreation by the public, and the use of our key conservation areas such as Falls Reserve, Wellnosh Valley, and Naftals Creek conservation areas have seen increased use over the past 4 years. Next slide, please. Mland Valley operates 2 campground facilities that are used for recreation by the public. These are Falls Reserve and Wellnosh Park Conservation Area. Campgrounds are not considered to be mandatory services, but I want to make sure that they're covered. Both campgrounds must fund their operations and infrastructure from user fees, so that no cost apportionment from the municipalities goes into those campgrounds. Next slide, please. So moving on to natural hazard services. These services are focused on flooding, erosion, and drought. The key services include flood monitoring and emergency response, providing natural hazard planning support to municipalities, reviewing development in floodplains, river valleys, wetlands, and along the Lake Huron shoreline, assisting municipalities to obtain funding to keep floodplain mapping up to date, and maintaining flood and erosion control infrastructure. Next slide, please. We have had to change our flood monitoring system to focus more on rainfall events than spring melt. We have over $500,000 worth of equipment in the field, and the flood forecast system must be monitored 7 days a week all year round for potential runoff events that may cause flooding. Next slide, please. And last but not least is drinking water source protection, which focuses on helping municipalities to safeguard the area around their wellheads and intake protection zones. This program is funded 100% by the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks. And the last slide, please. So once Mland Valley has received comments from all 15 municipalities on the draft agreement, we will circulate the final agreement for signing. And thank you for the opportunity to discuss this matter with council this evening, and we look forward to receiving your feedback and answering any questions that you may have.
Any questions from members of council? Bill, with the $500,000 of equipment that you have out in the field, monitoring rainfall and stuff like that. Now, is that information available free of charge to anybody or other agencies that
Yep.
need to use it?
Yep.
Okay. Does it get taken up by anybody else?
That's a good question. I'll have to ask the staff. I don't think so, but it is available. We have people that want to know about it for canoeing. Well, that's one reason, but it's
Any other questions, comments? Thank you very much, Phil.
thank you for letting me address us this evening. Thank you. Bill.
Our next delegation, KC Streets Eats Food Truck, requesting a year-round permit. Not sure who's coming forward.
It looks like they may not.
They're not shown. They did not show?
No,
Oh, okay.
I think the premise of their delegation was to request the year-round permit to attend any events in Huron East.
We never discussed one. We'd have to consider the ramifications.
Precisely, our original bylaw did have it as a year-round, and then we had changed it to the per event for a max of 7 days.
Our next delegation, McPherson Builders, the Bridges Redline application.
Thank you, Your Worship, member of council. My name is Russell Higgins. I'm principal of Pearson Builders. And we do here tonight is Amanda Stellings, our manager of planning. Probably recall, and of you about 6 months ago, talking about the bridges and the next steps in the development. And we have an item in front of council tonight for a minor amendment to the draft plan of condominium for the bridges. Since I last spoke with you, we have worked with the municipality staff and with the county staff to finalize draft plan conditions to everyone's satisfaction. Tie up any additional studies or notes that the county and municipality needed to get the red line revisions in place. And also have had discussions regarding the subdivision agreement. So I just wanted to come here tonight to remind council of what I promised them 6 months ago, which was we were looking for two things: the red line revision to our draft plan conditions, which is in front of you tonight, and a revision to the subdivision or condominium agreement, which staff had requested because the original agreement's about 20 odd years old and needed updating. And what we said in return is we would promise to look after the phase 1 and 2 top coat services in the bridges. So I'm pleased to tell you we're ready to go out to tender. Our tender documents are prepared. We've selected our bidders list, and our intention is to go out later this week. With construction scheduled for this September, October. The only caveat is I did say 6 months ago, and I don't think it'll be an issue at all, but we'd like to get the subdivision agreement, the revision, finalized before we actually pull the trigger on the contract. There are a bunch of issues we discussed last time, including turnover of the underground services to the municipality, and we were going to deal with that in the subdivision agreement. So I just want to reiterate that we pledged to do that, we're lined up to do it, and we're looking forward to do it. And I'm quite sure our existing 74 homeowners in the bridges are going to be thrilled when we get the top coat services in. Ms. Dowlings and I drove the subdivision, as we always do when we came to town, and the road's a little wavy, let me put it that way. So it needs a bit of a little TLC. And I'm also here to answer any questions that your worship or the members of council or staff have for me tonight.
Any questions or members of council at this time? I don't see any. I read through, some of the stuff that was in there. I also see that, I think the planning department are recommending that we go ahead with this and, they listed, some of the changes for some of the properties that corrected some of the issues that were out there. So, it looks like we're on the right track moving forward. Counselor Fisher.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To Mr. You or CAO or Mr. Higgins. There was 4 or 5 issues that needed to be fixed, remediated, whatever. Have they been done?
Which 4 or 5 you're referring to?
Oh,
We have a couple of hundred things to fix, so.
no, there was 4 or 5, easements and something about sewers, something about, manholes. I can't remember them all.
Well, I can address it. So, yeah, as part of the tender that's going out, we're gonna dig up parts of the road, replace some sewers. Fortunately, they're reasonably shallow. So it isn't that big an undertaking. We had some deflected sewers, damage inside some of the manholes, wear and tear. It's been about 20 years. So that was all video documented and run by the municipality staff to see what needed to be done, and all of that work is prepared. One of the issues that we wanted to cover off in the subdivision agreement, really for our benefit, was the issue of cost sharing with any future landowners who would hook up to our sewers. And we had presented former CAO Mick Roberts with a proposal a year earlier about a possible framework for a cost sharing. So we just wanted to have that incorporated into the subdivision agreement, just to acknowledge that if and when somebody comes forward again to hook up to the sewers, we'd like to get paid our fair share on that. And there was also the issue of turning over the underground infrastructure to the municipality, both in the existing phases of the bridges, phases 1 and 2, and in all the future phases. We, as McPherson, were able to pledge on future phases that we will do that. Phases 1 and 2 are dependent upon the condominium corporation agreeing to it because they own it now. But my understanding from all the discussions we've had, and I believe the municipality has had with the condo corp, is that they're more than happy to turn them over long-term to the municipality and get them off their books. So I don't know if there was anything else.
The issues that I remember, Mr. Higgins, there was either a June 1st or a June 30th that you were supposed to have them done by. Does that ring a bell?
I think it was contingent upon the Redline and the subdivision agreement being completed. And that's where we are today.
You have a different recollection than I do then. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions at this time? Thank you very much for coming out and meeting with us.
Great, thank you.
We are down to planning, number 10.1. The McPherson Building Seaport Draft Plan Condominium. Welcome, Shane.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is just the formal recommendation on the Redline application that Mr. Higgins was referring to. So I did bring an information report to council, I think about a month ago now, so I won't go too much into detail, but just a couple of the key points of what the Redline application is proposing. So mainly amendments to reconfigure units in line with today's zoning bylaw, a couple minor changes to reflect service and locations and easements. And then we added some blocks to accommodate the noise mitigation walls that will be constructed to facilitate phase 3 of the condo. And it also included a new set of revised conditions, which is attached to my report there. So the conditions have been reviewed by municipal staff, county staff, as well as the applicant's planning team. Couple notable changes in those conditions. So we added allow state approval. Previously, this was absent from the conditions just due to the age of the original approval. So the applicant will need to obtain final approval within 3 years, or request an extension of the condo plan. Some clarification that the plan is permitted to proceed in phased approach, which was always planned, just clarifying that in those conditions. And then the other main one would be a new updated development or condominium agreement. So that will follow after approval of this application here, that's currently in review. And we'll be working with the applicants to kind of iron out the details for that. So that will be next steps for that, and then as noted that the application here, a zoning amendment will follow once the details of the noise wall are completed to lift the holding zone and some height restrictions that were associated with that noise report. So I'll leave it there. If there's any questions for myself, or for the applicants, you can address those as well.
Questions? I have a question. I'm not sure if this is the right spot, whether it go to Shay or the CAO. And even the applicant, had indicated that we've almost got a chicken and egg kind of thing here where both sides want something. They don't want to pull the trigger on, getting the second coat on until they know that we've got our next stage underway. What if we approve the next stage and then things don't get done to our satisfaction after that? What kind of recourse does the municipality have?
I think those type of recourse actions are gonna be addressed in that site plan renewal one, so that it covers all those pieces, including the existing. What's required to meet the satisfaction of releasing securities and whatnot, so that's gonna be addressed in the new site plan agreement or subdivision agreement. That is being reviewed with legal, and I'm meeting with them this week. To kind of see the status of that.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Chartrand.
So. The old agreement, there wasn't very much securities in the one that was 20 years ago, and so we're looking at increasing those securities now to offset. Should the work not get done? I'm concerned about that too, because we had a promise before. When the municipality was paving Front Road. McPherson said, well, we'll tag on to that and maybe we'll get a good price when they do Front Road, we'll do that. And then it never happened, so. Hopefully this time it'll happen. And there was a contingency list. I recall having a meeting here when Barry was here with some members of the association. To Councillor Fisher's point, there was a list of things that weren't up to date. One of them was the paving, but I can't remember exactly what was on there, but hopefully they got done.
Okay, any other comments of council at this time? Can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Deal, second by Deputy Mayor, that the Council of the Municipality of Huron East acknowledge the report of Huron County Planner Shay Stahl dated August 12, 2025, and have no objection to the draft plan of condominium file 40 CDM 01001 and direct staff to forward the application to the County of Huron for approval. All those in favor? And motion carries. Thank you. Next, planning report, change of condition on consent application C80.
Great, thank you. I think if you don't mind just skipping ahead a few slides. Stay there. So this will just be a brief update. So this is a request to add a minor condition change to a previously approved severance application. That's file C80 2024. That was approved earlier this year. The request is to add an easement for an electrical transmission line in favor of the severed lands as the transmission line crosses into the retained lands. So next slide. So just got an aerial photo of the subject property here. And then on the right is the draft survey. So you can see where it's highlighted in green and yellow, the hydro line that crosses. So the yellow portion is the portion that crosses the retained parcel, which is where the easement is proposed to be. No concerns from staff or agencies on this, and not anticipated having negative impacts on either parcel. So it's recommended that the minor change of condition be supported and forwarded to the county.
Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through you to Shay. Shay, on your report there, when you, in the review part of it, says there are no concerns expressed by municipal staff regarding the proposed easement. The proposed easement is not anticipated to cause any negative impacts to the retained part. So this was worried about that wording, not anticipated.
Yeah, thank you. So I just really the wording, just because hard to kind of definitively say anything that, there wouldn't be an issue down the line, but as far as we're concerned, there really isn't any change here. The easement would just recognize that the owners of the severed property would be able to access that hydro line should they ever need to access it for maintenance, or other purposes.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, through you again to Shay, so the people that bought the surplus farmland, do they get a say in this at all?
I believe they were consulted.
Okay, that's what I was looking for.
I don't think the ownership has changed hands, as the conditions haven't been finalized and they haven't been registered. So currently the owner of the severed parcel is the same owner as the owner of the retained. They're obviously the ones requesting the.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's what I was looking for, as long as they were consulted at least anyway, so perfect, thank you.
Any other questions? Can I get a mover and a seconder for this motion, please? Councillor Chartrand, Councillor Fisher, that the council of the municipality of Huron East acknowledge the report of Huron County Planner Jay Stull dated August 12, 2025, and have no objection to the change of condition on consent application C80-2024. All those in favor? And motion carries. Consent application C25 of 2025.
Thank you. Right there, perfect. So this is consent application C 2025. The subject property is 83250 Brussels Line. And the applicant and owner is Dawn and Mland Valley, and they are here in the gallery today. So the purpose of this application is to create a new lot under the surplus farm residence severance policies. The proposed severed land is about 2.75 acres in size and would consist of the existing house, shop, and 2 storage sheds. And the retained farmland is about 86 acres and consists of vacant farmland. Next slide, please. So just a couple aerial photos of the subject property here. So we're located just north Walton, just outside of the settlement area for reference. So only thing I'll note here is that there was a previous severance of the original 100-acre lot. Sorry, it's a little hard to see. It's just to the south of the red outline there. The applicant's lawyer did provide a title search and history of this previous severance and indicated that the previous severance was prior to 1973, before our comprehensive severance policies in the county official plan. So as such, this is considered to meet the criteria, for the surplus severance policies. And the proposal otherwise meets all other requirements of the surplus severance policies. The proposed severed parcel is kept to a minimum size of 2.75 acres. That does include the shop of 2 storage sheds on the severed. And the residence is surplus to the owner of the farm, Dawn and Mland Valley, who own another farm parcel containing a residence just down the road on this line here. Property zoned AG1 and natural environment in the zoning bylaw and designated agriculture in the official plan. As I mentioned, conforms to all policies of the surplus farm severance residence policies. And no concerns were raised by staff or other agencies during circulation. Just a quick site sketch provided by the applicant, just shows the location of the existing buildings, the well, the septic, and the wall line. Next slide, please. And then just a couple site photos of what the subject property looks like today. So the top corner is the existing storage sheds, and then the existing house on the right there. Next slide. So as the application is consistent with the official planning statement and conforms to the county and Huron's official plans, the application is recommended for approval with the attached standard conditions. Any questions on that?
Any questions of council? Seeing none. Can I get a mover and a seconder to accept? Councillor Wilby, Councillor Morrison, that the council of the municipality of Huron East Acknowledge the report of Huron County Planner Shay Stahl dated. No. Should I be asking the applicant if they have any comments? I'm kind of skipping ahead here. Not used to having meetings anymore. Dated August 12th, 2025, and have no objection to the consent application C-25 of 2025, provided the conditions as outlined in the planning report are met. All those in favor? And motion carries. Under 12.1, well, thanks, Shay. Under 12.1, development mobility lease renewal. Is there anything to highlight on there, or just the same conditions over again? Can I get a mover and a seconder for this? Moved by Councillor Deal, second by Councillor Morrison. Did you have a question, Councillor Fisher?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, a comment, if I may, please, I don't know if I do it here or do it when we pass the bylaw, but, I'm thinking 5 years ago, Mr. Knight, when we last did this agreement, Bell said they would upgrade I don't know this technology stuff, but they would upgrade something at the arena that we could get the blood bank back. CVS couldn't use their equipment in the arena, and they canceled the blood bank 5 or maybe even 6 years ago. It was very, very successful. 4 times a year, good for community spirit. There'd be 90 to 110 people come 4 times a year donating blood, and as you know, that's a very needed commodity in Ontario/Canada. Fewer donors, more demand. And it started out all right. They talked to 2 neighbors who were within the circle of this booster tower, or whatever it would be. And they both agreed. Then when they went to put the tower up, it was gonna be on top of a water line, and it ended there. And I was never able to get much out of Mr. Marion or Mr. McRoberts and Bell going forward. So could we have a caveat on this request that they go forward with improving our reception in our arena? And it's not just for the blood services, it's when they have the toy doll and craft show or any other functions up there. When people are buying and selling, their machines won't work.
Okay,
So is it possible to have a caveat for that matter, please? Sorry, I was so long-winded.
no, and the explanation helped me. I think we could certainly pass the motion as is, because we do want to certainly renew what we've got there.
Definitely.
But we can certainly ask staff to approach Bell about this, and also that we could also use it as a public announcement that, they're helping do something to bring the blood bank back to Seaforth. So it's kind of good for their image, I would say, if they can cooperate and do something like that. And also if Jess can gather any information on what was planned in the past to take with her conversation, I have absolutely no problem with that.
Thank you.
Did I get a mover and a seconder on it? Did? All those in favor? And motion carries. Do you need a motion for the other, Jess? Okay.
Thank you.
Seaforth Connecting Link, winter maintenance. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Deputy Mayor and Councillor Morrison, that the Council of the Municipality of Huron East authorize the mayor and the clerk to execute the winter maintenance service agreement from the Integrated Maintenance and Operation Services, Inc. on operating under the name of Owen Sound Highway Maintenance Limited at a cost of $9,098.48 plus HST for the 2025-2026 winter season. I guess the only question I have, Sean, is that it was a fairly hefty jump And is that just because based on last winter's experience, or was there other justifications they gave?
To be fair, I'm not sure what their formula is for determining this cost. What I can tell you is that we're in no way able to provide that service for that cost.
Okay,
For 24-hour service on the highway that they pass through. I think this is a bargain.
that's good to hear. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor? And motion carries. The mover and a seconder for the Brucefield Water System UV replacement. Councillor Chartrand and Councillor Fisher, that the council of the municipality of Huron East authorize the Public Works Department to approve the use of the reserve funds for the replacement of ultraviolet disinfectant equipment at the Brucefield Water Plant, and that the council of the municipality of Huron East direct staff to sole source the replacement work using H2 flow technologies. Again, Sean, I do have a question. From the report, is it just the circuitry, the circuit boards that are the problem?
Yes, so one of the main issues with this UV system is that the manufacturer of the UV system, this unit was installed in 2003, and the unit is obsolete, so they haven't manufactured these parts. They don't manufacture these parts anymore. So we can't, what we've been doing is using a contractor and like salvaging parts from other people that have been removing them from service and trying to find aftermarket parts to keep it going. So Trojan Technologies is the company that we currently have, like that's the unit that's currently there. And when we reach out to them, they're like, we don't make these parts anymore. We can't go back to the manufacturer. They still exist. They just don't make these parts. So in reality, there really isn't a whole lot of choice for us.
So based on that explanation, my next concern is spending $140,000. How many years down the road before we're not gonna be able to get parts again?
Well, if I had to give you an approximation, I would say less than 20 years that we got out of the current ones. Just because technology seems to become obsolete faster and faster than it ever used to. Now, we are using, like Trojan is a relatively local company, like their headquarters are in London, Ontario. So, we have had quite a bit of success with their technicians coming out and troubleshooting and keeping these units going. And typically what happens is with patent technology is that you do get like a relative longevity in the service, the parts service, like they are required to provide like repair parts for a certain number of years. So that's probably where we're getting at with the current equipment, is that we're getting to that, 15 to 20 year mark, and those they've moved on to the new emerging technologies, and they're just not required to keep manufacturing the old parts anymore.
Councillor Chartrand.
What kind of warranty is on that new system? 2 years, 3 years, 5 years?
I'd have to get back to you on that one. I would think very rarely is it even more than 1 year.
With electronics, that's common. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through Sean. So the sole sourcing, want to go that route there. So is there nobody else, or you just like a good relationship that you've had with this company?
Yeah, so typically, Trojan Technologies doesn't have like an install team. Their products are distributed through like a contractor, and H2 Flow is that contractor. There is undoubtedly somebody else in Ontario that does the same work, because this contractor isn't doing it for everybody. But it is a niche technology, it's a niche market to get into. So the trouble is we have had a good relationship with this contractor. There's no doubt about that. The tricky part is if we went to, say, tendering, all of a sudden this particular contractor is gonna know that nobody else is going to bid. And all of a sudden our price could go up, right? Like it gives them a lot more leverage than it gives us. So right now we can go to others if there was somebody else out there to find. And try to work the price down, but as soon as we go to tender and that person knows there's maybe only 3 in the whole province and they're all busy. Then the price for that type of a project goes up. So that's typically why we try to negotiate these prices rather than do it through a tender format.
Any other questions? All those in favor? Motion carries. The Seaforth compost site. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Chartrand and Councillor McGrath. That the council of the municipality of Huron East take no additional action and accept this report for information purposes from the Public Works Department. Go ahead, Councillor McGrath.
There is another site. I don't know if you remember it or not, but a number of years ago, there was a fence and then area put in at the front of the gravel pit entrance. And that was where this compost was supposed to go. Because there was complaints back years ago about that. I would recommend, and I would like to see happen, this is the only gentleman has a problem. I would like to see us provide Julie, or whatever you call it, company, to go to his property. And protect his property from rodents like baited or whatever on his personal property. I would like to see that happen. He's the one with the problem, he's the one with the rats. You gotta have a place to live, he's got an old barn there, they get into his basement, get into the barn or whatever, and that's where the issue is. They only eat over at the compost, then they head north or have a sleep. So I'd like to see us provide rodent control on his property with his approval, of course.
Okay, so I still need to break this down into two things, Larry. The motion that we have at this point, although it does say no further action required. But I'm gonna take it as you would like a motion to ask staff to inquire at what the cost would be for the company that we have providing the service. Extend that service over to that other piece of property.
I would like to take it for my personal situation, I would like to take that $700 you're spending on the compost site. And take it to his house. Seems to me that's where they're ending up. But that's my personal opinion,
I understand the rationale for believing that they're coming from the compost site, and I can't argue that point one way or the other, although. In the report, it indicates that you don't seem to have any issue at the compost site. Or at least the person providing the service doesn't feel there's any issue there.
Yeah, so the way that the reports work out, cause that the contractor goes and baits the site. And then every time they go back out, they're like 100% of the bait was gone, or half the bait was gone, or 25% of the bait was gone. And when we started the program, all the bait was disappearing. And then over the last 4 years, it's slowly been declining, where now they're going back out and sometimes all the bait is still there. So,
Rats are not, right?
that's because the rodents have disappeared. So that's the rationale for, it's good to keep the baiting going, because obviously we started it for a reason. Expanding it based on what's happening doesn't at the moment seem necessary, but.
Okay, and I have no problem accepting that explanation, but I know Councilor McGrath has also had concerns from the property owner of that. Were you about to say something about?
I had a question when this part of the discussion was over, Mr. Mayor, please.
Does it have anything to do with the same thing we're talking about?
Peripherally, but not exactly.
Okay, Councilor Chartrand.
Yeah, I think the guys are doing an awesome job of keeping that compost clean. I've never seen any rats out there. And the rats don't seem to cross the road. There's 2 or 3 other houses on the other side. I've talked to some of the people there, Daryl Young. They don't see any rats on their side of the road, so I don't know, there's definitely the baiting has helped over all the years and there's less and less rats out there. I think with the way the conditions are right now, I think we have a good handle on the control of that.
I just need direction from council at this point, that's all. Like we have,
You have a motion, or
we do have a motion on the floor. Did you want to raise a motion after the fact and just see how it was, Larry, or?
I would, yeah, I guess this was allowed to be carried and then I could bring in another motion.
Okay,
That's
So-
like the best way to go about it.
all right, I've already,
Legal.
yeah, I've already read the motion, that was in the agenda. All those in favor?
Question, Mr. Mayor,
Oh,
please.
go ahead, Devin.
Thank you. Sean, this compost we're talking about, is it the household waste, household garbage, like food products?
Yeah, yes,
grass.
grass, yard waste,
Oh,
Household waste.
household,
So there.
to me, grass is, yard stuff and compost to me are two different things. Compost is food products, etc. Grass and leaves and branches are. We're not accepting,
for this purpose, all of them end up in the same place,
so we are accepting household garbage though.
not garbage.
Yeah,
Like kitchen waste and stuff,
yeah,
yeah,
and then where does that end up? Is it composted and then sold or put on a field or?
currently it's stockpiled off-site. So it's moved to the gravel pit
And then
and stockpiled,
what do we do with it?
at the moment, nothing,
Just let it rot.
it's composting.
So my garden needs a little action next fall. I just will with my pickup and.
No, can't get in.
I'm not driving it.
You know what I mean? Anyway, okay. I just wondered what happened to it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion that was read? And motion carries. Go ahead, Mr. McGrath.
I'd like to make a motion that we have support for road control at the complainant's house, because I do still feel it's coming from the compost site, particularly because of food waste, particularly. And there might be certain things where it could be worse than others, like sometimes it was gone, sometimes it wasn't. But you take pumpkin season as an event, right? Well, you go out there, she's like right full of carved up pumpkin. And they can sit there for 2 or 3 weeks or a month. And I've seen the sidewalks talking about, so I would like to see something done for the gentleman. I mean, he's gotta live beside this place, so. And for what it would cost us to, like, if I'm gating that site for $700 a year, you know, for another. He moved around his property and that's where they bait around the buildings, right, to catch. Cause these roads have to have a place to sleep, they're not sleeping in the garbage pile. They find a place to have refuge. And that's a building somewhere, and that's, look straight north, that's where we're going, and that would be my concern, so.
Deputy Mayor.
I was just gonna ask through you, Mr. Mayor, I was just gonna ask Larry if we could do something like for 6 months or like just a trial period and see if it's gonna do anything or not. Rather than leave it open-ended.
Well, no, cause we might be monitoring at his place, but he's monitoring at his place, so he knows he has them there. And where else can they be coming from? This would be my opinion. It's not like there's something else there. So I know what you're saying, but you know, as speed as council moves, 6 months will be 6 years. So that's my concern as well. So the topic's here and it's here now. Yeah,
No, all it means just put the bait out for 6 months and then see what the results are.
no, I think.
Do you not, Mr. Deputy
I
Mayor?
think just leave it as it is.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant, Bob. Yeah.
Yeah.
You meant
5%.
at his place or here?
No,
At his
at his,
It is, let's-
Oh, I thought you meant
Yeah.
just by the report, just you're not.
no,
Yeah.
no, certainly if he has an issue there, you know, I don't think we can.
Oh, I
turn a blind-
misunderstood.
Blind eye to it, but.
Sorry, Counselor, sorry, Deputy Mayor.
No worries.
No, I would
I
agree.
meet these people on a daily.
I think that
So,
we should do something for him and see if, and then those can be monitored as well.
I like to do it for 6 months and
And if then you're gonna know.
Counselor Deal.
Thank you, through you to Counselor McGrath. Is there anything in the barn?
It's empty. Just little car parts, and stuff.
It's empty.
Not livestock.
Nothing is in there, no leftover feed or straw or
Not to
anything.
my knowledge, it's just for the cleaned up barn, it's never ready, just little car parts and stuff.
That makes it better. But I think we have to be very careful with off-site baiting also. If somebody's cat or dog, or cats are usually smart enough to stay away from it, but if a dog finds a rat, they could eat it.
Oh, eating the animal after the fact. Okay, that I hadn't thought of it. Like, I know the bait stations are.
Yeah, they're sealed, but
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
like I say, a cat's usually smart enough not to touch them, but a dog will pick them up. And then you've got that
Although technically, I guess we could have the same thing if they ran off of our property too.
for sure, but when you're on someone else's property doing it,
Well, we would not do it without permission of the owner.
yeah,
If I understand correctly, what we're talking about is transferring our service. The property next door. And seeing if they start eating all the bait over there. And hopefully our residents still don't see a problem at the compost area. When they're there dropping off their refuge.
I think that I could agree with that one on that, it's 6 months trial and then we'll see, and it can be monitored.
So they come 4 times a year, if I remember, Sean? Was that it?
I think it's monthly.
Oh, it's monthly?
Yeah,
Okay, so. We got a couple steps we gotta take here, even if this gets approved. First of all, we'd have to get permission from the property owner that Larry's talking about. Explain to them that we basically wanna do this as a test to see if. There is a problem and if this helps alleviate the problem. No guarantee it goes beyond the 6 months, but if they're willing to allow us. We would ask the same company that we're using just to transfer the service to that property. For the 6 months and we'll get our reports back. Is that what we're looking for?
Yeah, I think we would agree with that, yeah.
Transfer or expand, Mr. Mayor?
I was only gonna say transfer because, the bottom line is that people aren't seeing them at the, location now where we're dropping off the, compost. And I don't know that they were seeing a lot of them before we started debate because we had complaints. So. We don't know for sure that they didn't start in the barn and come over to our place. Either way, it doesn't matter if we put the bait over there and everybody's happy after a while, we're not talking about spending any more money then. The budget stays the same, just transfer the service next door.
but what happens if they go back to the compost?
Then
And then
we will
you've got
take care
another
of our,
mess.
then we will take care of our problem. I think that's all we can do at that point. If council wants to do something else, then they have the option to do that. So. Can you try and read back what we've discussed?
I kind of simplified it here so that council of the municipality of Huron East directs staff to commence rodent control at the complainant's property for a 6-month trial period.
After the
Yeah,
neighbor gives permission for this trial experiment.
at the complaints, yeah.
I was gonna say there should be an agreement because addressing some of those liability concerns as well if we're doing.
Sure.
Something at somebody else's property, so it would be an agreement in place with that property owner.
Sure. I'm fine with that.
just if I could,
Go ahead.
what would be the impact of the cost going up? Like the contractor may decide to change the cost because you're moving to a private property, like you're moving the property location of the service.
It would be appropriate to ask that question. In fact, it wouldn't be hard for you to contact the contractor with that question because as Jess says, she wants to put some sort of letter together for the property owner to sign agreeing to this, so
Sure,
they could get back to you with a response pretty quick on the phone,
sure.
where she's got, a little bit of work to do before we move on.
I just didn't know, I just wanted to be clear that we were maintaining the budget for that service. That's the understanding.
That was my hope.
Yeah.
I would suggest if we had to increase a fee, they would have that option perhaps to pay for that additional uppage. As their property owner getting that service from the municipality to pay that difference of what we normally pay to what they might be upping the price to.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
If that is a thing.
if that's an issue.
All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. I would say 5. That was 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, motion fails. That was only 50%, correct? 1, 2.
I think you need sense.
You need 6. Motion fails. Okay, 12.5, municipal election voting methods. Thanks, Sean. Did I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Deal and Councillor Fisher, that the council of the municipality of Huron East accept the proposal from the Huron County Clerk's Election Working Group to utilize the Simply Voting Inc. platform for the upcoming 2026 municipal and school board elections in the amount of $13,251 plus HST. Comments or questions? All those in favor? And motion carries. And 12.6, a parking bylaw update. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Chartrand, Councillor Deal, that the Huron East Council approve the amendments to the Huron East parking bylaw schedules as presented with report CLK-25-13. Any comments or questions on that? Councillor Fisher.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. With parking in general, going forward, is there any way we could train / designate / something, a municipal employee so we could have a more frequent enforcement instead of waiting for Mr. Brocklebank's day in town?
You absolutely can. It will be a motion of council, which I would suggest would have to be through your budget process because you're really talking about hiring a new person if you want someone. But if you're not wanting the one day that Mr. Brocklebank or 2 days that Mr. Brocklebank comes, how often do you have this other person available doing this?
Until the problem on our Main Street is remedied, daily.
Yeah, but he's not talking about hiring new.
No, just someone on
Using
staff. That's part of their job description, 3 or 4 times a week or every morning, whatever.
Just from my own observations, I don't see a lot of our staff twiddling their thumbs looking for
No.
something else to do.
I'm not saying that.
But if you're gonna try and spare them for every day of the week to be going out doing this, I think you really do need a dedicated person, and it's not fair if you only do it in Seaport. We've had concerns about in Brussels. We're talking about changing things in Brussels where you can only park on one side of the street, changing some of the rules. If you're gonna enforce it here, you gotta enforce it there. I
Yeah.
think it becomes a full-time job then, does it not?
I don't see that.
CAO.
I just wanted to comment you can't just add that to somebody's title because it does take certain qualifications to be an enforcement officer. And a lot of knowledge with your Provincial Offences Act, especially because we have tickets that need to be issued. So you need to have that qualification. I also want to note that the reason you don't see the bylaw itself on the agenda is because we're reviewing the fees themselves. So some of the struggle, especially with Main Street parking, is it's $20.
55.
No, it's $20 for Main Street in our bylaw. So there is no incentive to somebody to really adhere as much as our bylaw enforcement officer goes out. So we are looking to increase that to match the same as prohibited parking, because Main Street is timed parking, not prohibited. So it's
Prohibited
different.
parking is 55 then? Is that right?
Prohibited parking is 60.
That's
So
what I think. I
Brussels-
thought everything was the same, sorry.
No, there's different sections. So part of this review was bringing all of our amendments together, looking at those fees with Mr. Brocklebank and making sure that we're aligned with some current fees. And I think you may see some adjustments there once that comes. So that's just being reviewed, which is why we didn't have the actual bylaw on this agenda, but we did want to bring forward that these are the amendments that we're making to it. As well as Bruce does come in as needed, so when we do get complaints, he will out those, I think you like to call them blitzes or something, enforcement days, so it's more than just once. If you're looking at more activity from enforcement, you're probably looking at our whole service altogether.
Counselor Fisher, I do appreciate the fact that if we're gonna have a bylaw, we should be enforcing it. There's no sense in writing it if we're not gonna stand behind it. But if there's an opportunity to get Bruce to show up a little more often when we know we are having some issues in specific areas, I'd prefer to use that method first, because the other alternative to have someone more full-time, unfortunately is an expensive adventure. And if it works, you don't need them after you get the message across.
That's what I thought, if someone on staff could be designated for a short, anyway. It's on the radar, we'll see what happens, thank you.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion on the parking bylaw? And motion carries. CS 25-10, enhancing access to space for everyone. Oh, a grant application. Can I get a mover and a second, please? Councillor Fisher, Councillor Newell, that the Council of the Municipality of Huron East support a submission of the $60,000 grant application to the Ontario Minister for Seniors and Accessibility to the fund to fund an accessibility improvement project at the Seaforth Lawn Bowling Club. Now, I read this, but I didn't read exactly what it was they were changing. Do we even know? And I guess it doesn't matter a lot, because either they get the grant or they don't. What was it, Lisa?
It's for accessible washrooms, so the current washrooms that they have are not accessible.
Okay.
So it's to convert the two gender washrooms they have to universal washrooms, and one will be fully accessible.
Okay.
And then in addition, accessible ramps to get down to the greens as well as into the building.
Okay. I have some questions in the back of my head, but that doesn't matter. Very. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Fisher and Deputy Mayor, all those in favor? And motion carries. Small community halls and sport field appointments. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Deal, second by Deputy Mayor, that the Council of the Municipality of Huron East consider the bylaw to appoint members to the various committees, centers, community centers, and sports field committees. And that council approve the terms and conditions for the operation of small community halls and sports fields. All those in favor? Motion carried. Was there questions? No, okay. We are down to council member reports. And Mr. Deputy Mayor, have we had a meeting?
No, I'm just going to look at my notes and no, we haven't had a county meeting. We have one tomorrow, but we haven't had anything since. The only thing I was going to say, but some of the other council members may have want to touch on it yet tonight too, is just a reminder that this Thursday and Friday is Huron County Plowing Match. This year it's held at Paul Dodd's farm, just outside of Seaforth here, Roxborough line. Banquet is Friday night. There's tickets still available, I believe, as well.
Thank you for that. Any other boards, committees, meetings, or seminars that anybody's attended that would like to share? Councillor Chartrand.
Just like to share on Saturday, we had a meeting at the Van Egmond House. Myself and Lisa Thompson did a ribbon cutting for the new pavilion that they have now at the Van Egmond House. It's a beautiful pavilion and it is available for rent for family reunions or any other functions. So that was funded by the Masons from the Botanica sale, as well as a grant, was it a ledge? Sled, yeah. So there was a lot of people that were there and they cooked hot dogs and had hot dogs and chips and pop for everybody who came to it. So it was a nice event.
How many people does it hold if you're renting it out for family events?
I can't tell you off the top of my head, but there was, 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of, picnic tables running north and south, so. And there's hydro in there if you wanna put in a slow cooker, it's a nice, pavilion.
Come here.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ray, is it, signed for somebody? I mean, it's a beautiful pavilion for sure, but is it signed? There's like if somebody just driving by, they might think, let's pull in here and just enjoy this.
Yeah, there's
pavilion.
a sign there with a number, a name and a number to call if you wanna rent it.
Okay, no, that's what I was getting
Yeah.
at. There was, so people, people can get in touch with somebody. So thank you.
And we see people even before, it was there, people would come there on their lunch break instead of the picnic table,
Out of the sun.
yeah.
Are there any requests by members at this time? Councillor Fisher.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I got a couple if I may, First one, excuse me, back to school. In 3 weeks, I wondered if we could ask the, OPP to ramp up their, radar checks on, bus routes and where the kids gather to get on the bus for the next month or till the end of September. Cause people are going pretty quick on Kippen Road and I know on Front Road as well. Don't seem to realize it's a 50. I wonder if that could be transferred or referred to the OPP, please. And then the other one was fire hall, bathrooms. Where are we at on that? It's 6 months in or so. We haven't heard anything about our there's gonna be an engineer's report on the building. We haven't heard that. I thought we were gonna get it in July. But anyway, going forward, where are we at on firemen's bathrooms, please?
Okay, so the first one, will just, I would think it'd be more appropriate if we just ask staff to send a letter to the OPP. And say that, we've heard comments that the speed limits on County Road 12 and Front Road, around, Egmanville. Seem to be excessive and we just have concerns with the school year starting up in a few weeks.
And that, I imagine it's not just here, it would probably be Brussels and Ethel and wherever.
And could very well be, but I think a polite letter like that still gets the point across.
Yes, please, yeah, that's how I, yeah,
Okay,
foresaw it happening.
and I'll turn it over to the CAO to, respond about the Washington.
We do have quotes and the engineer assessment. We were waiting to bring a compiled report along with the whole building complex. Along with what would be required in Seaforth directly, since those were co-related items, so you could have everything all at once in front of you. The expectation or hope was this meeting, however, we just had some delays with gathering the EMS requirements that they're looking for and just getting that final design put into place. So we are very hopeful you'll have something in September.
Thank you.
Councilor McGrath.
I thought we were told that if we start any renovations at the fire hall, it wouldn't be feasible. Because it has to be designed to be almost an indestructible building.
It has to be
as an emergency
post-disaster
center.
recovery.
Just to be clear, my understanding from the explanation he gave was you could do certain things and you wouldn't have to go to that extent.
Right.
But if you did other things, you then would be forced to make those changes to that extent. And if in fact, if it was just, some electrical, some plumbing, stuff like that, that probably did not constitute having to make the change to the overall structure. But if we changed anything in the structure, we automatically then were bound by the new standards. That was the way
That's the way I read it.
yeah, that's what I took from, can't remember the, last one, okay. Yes,
So
Councilor
it-
Chartrand.
To you to Jess, so in this report that's coming. It's gonna have timing. It's gonna have cost. Because in the initial dream that we had. We have to sell that building, we gotta 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 buy land.
They'll have estimated timeframes, I mean.
The
it's
reason why I'm
just
asking that
subject to-
question is we have frozen the C4 firehouse budget now for 8 months. And they wanted to do gender washrooms and a few offices, which doesn't change the physical structure of the building. It was all internal. And that's why I'm asking timing, because this might be 2 years out, it might be 3 years out. But yet every year we keep freezing the C4 firemen's budget. And they're frustrated.
Okay, it hasn't been 8 months because we didn't pass the budget the first week of January,
For 2025,
but. When the budget was passed this year, yes, it was put on hold to find this out. And I think it does make sense that we get all the information at once, because if we get it in piecemeal, it's hard to make.
I agree. I just wanna make sure we have all the information and timing and cost. Because we're gonna have to make an informed decision here in the future, cost wise for future budgets.
A couple of things that might help, at least these were my conversations with Brad, who had met with Jeff Horseman, is the director for EMS out of the county. They've already scoped out property that is available, that would be a good location for both Huron East and the county. So that's already been investigated, and at least at the time, I realized, housing movement isn't as, productive as it, was a couple of years ago, but I'm not sure that industry buildings are having a problem being bought and sold. And at least the contract, or the real estate agent that Brad got his numbers from didn't feel that there was any problem in moving those properties. I'm only sharing with you what was shared with me at the time.
And this package included moving the yards, municipal yards with it, right?
Correct, so it's a public works,
Yes, the whole.
C4 fire and EMS complex building. In terms of timelines, that's why we wanna bring it together, because if you decide you don't, council wishes not to go with the larger complex, you still know what your prices are for renovating the C4 class.
Through you to Jess, do you know how big of a lot there is where the C4 fire department is situated on right now?
The size it is right now.
Yeah, the building that's there now, do you know how big a lot there is there?
Um,
And if not, I don't
I
need to
don't know if I know it offhand.
No, and I don't need to, I didn't mean that, I just meant, could that be included in part of your package as well?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That was both items, correct, Councillor Fisher?
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any notices of motion by anybody this evening? Seeing none, any announcements at this time, Councillor?
I'd just like to make a comment. I wanna thank, on behalf of the C4th Legion, I'm on the executive there. I wanna thank, our staff for bringing their sweeper out and cleaning our parking lot out there. Thank the staff at the arena. They lent us all kinds of garbage pails. They delivered them. They picked them up. I don't know or think people appreciate the work behind the scenes that our staff did for this homecoming, whether it was road closing signs, cleaning up after, helping in all the service groups, but they did an awesome job on supporting homecoming, and I want to make sure you thank all of them for doing a great job.
And I appreciate the fact that you raised that issue, and that still goes back to the whole comment that I have about, we need to recognize the volunteers that did the work. And hopefully by recognizing those people in a public way, it might encourage some other people to start to volunteer again. Because the unfortunate part is the people that for the last 20 years have been the good volunteers
I know.
are now getting old enough that saying, you know what, I just don't have the energy to do it anymore, but the younger people, not enough of them have stepped up. We've gotta show them that there is something in helping your community. No, that's good that you mentioned that, Ray, thanks. Bylaws, can I get a mover? If you're, sorry, Brenda.
This is just, it's not about the homecoming, but it's just, I want to acknowledge the Knights of Columbus. They always bring forward a donation at the Winthrop Ballpark, and they've done it again. And it's very appreciated. This year it's $600, and it goes for our minor ball or whatever they need. And they've been great supporters for a number of years. That's the Knights of Columbus.
Very good, thank you. Can I get a mover and a seconder for bylaw 60? Councillor Deal and Deputy Mayor. That be it hereby resolved by law 60 of 2025, a bylaw to authorize an amending agreement with Bell Mobility Inc. for the installation of the telecommunications antenna, or I can't even talk, an associated equipment system on the Seaforth Water Tower to be given first, second, third, and final readings, signed by the mayor and the clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. All those in favor? Motion carries. Can I get a mover and a seconder for bylaw 61? Councillor Wilby, Councillor Chartrand. That be it hereby resolved that bylaw 61 of 2025, a bylaw to authorize the signing of an agreement with Integrated Maintenance and Operation Services, Inc. to provide winter maintenance on Highway 8 within the limits of the ward of Seaforth, be given first, second, third, and final readings, signed by the mayor and the clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. All those in favor? The motion carries. Mover and a seconder for bylaw 62, Councillor Morrison, Councillor Newell, that be it hereby resolved that bylaw 62 of 2025, a bylaw to appoint a deputy clerk, Stacy Frame, be given first, second, third, and final readings, signed by the mayor and the clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Councillor Fisher.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. When we advertised for the communications person, was there the appendage deputy clerk on that ad?
It was, yes.
We didn't ask anybody already employed if they were interested?
The role has, the one, it was the previous executive assistant / communications coordinator role.
Yep.
And this role has already had that deputy clerk piece built into that role. So we just kind of moved that front heading in the role up to deputy clerk and opposed to admin assistant. But no, we didn't, there was no interest internally of applications that were received.
Thank you.
All those in favor of the motion? And that carries. Mover and a seconder for bylaw 63. Councillor Deal, Deputy Mayor, that be it hereby resolved that bylaw 63 of 2025, a bylaw to appoint members to certain committees of council for the corporation of the municipality of Huron East be given first, second, third, and final readings and signed by the mayor and the clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed to. All those in favor?
Question, Mr.
Oh,
Mayor.
sorry, go ahead, Bob.
Thank you. Is this just gonna be an appointment for 1 year? The rest of our term? Or would it be expedient to appoint them for 5 years? So we don't have to go through this in a year,
According to
trying
the,
to find people or whatever.
according to the terms and conditions we've made with the committees that was earlier in the agenda, they're appointed until they let us know that they've left. That's just how these community groups have currently already operated. And then we will reach out at the end of term to these groups to see if there has been changes, because this bylaw would eventually encompass all of our citizen appointments on here and would be amended with every term of council or every change that's made with a committee member.
How do you mean amended, please?
If there's a change of a committee member, we would change the
I mean,
bylaws.
somebody could be on a committee for 22 years.
With these small community halls, that's how they've been operating. Their members are
Yeah, I know.
members for as long as they want to be
Okay.
members. It's a little different than our normal committee
I thought-
appointments in terms of to economic development or our other citizen ones, we have set terms in the terms of reference. But to just align with how these committees have only been operating and not to be too onerous on them, we're keeping them as they're volunteering for the length of term they wish to volunteer for.
I thought we were making everything the same. That's why this was brought forward. Okay, thank you.
All those in favor? And motion carries. And a mover and a seconder for the confirmatory bylaw, Councillor Deal, Councillor Wilby. That be it hereby resolved bylaw 64, a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council be given first, second, third, and final readings signed by the mayor and the clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. All those in favor? Motion carries. And the time now being 7:29 PM. Regular meeting due now adjourn until September 9th, 2025 at 6 PM. Moved by Councillor Fisher, second by Councillor Deal. I beat you to it, Bob. All those in favor? And all those in favor? Motion carries.